Now, the big bosses of tech giants have been facing a grilling by US politicians today, all about how they control content on their platforms. But coming so close to polling day, it's hardly surprising that the grillings have turned rather political. Let's cross over to Alex in the Cube for more.
Well, Ollie, here is my rather veritable totem pole of big tech, if you like. Here they were, the CEOs, Jack Dorsey of Twitter, Mark Zuckerberg, of course, of Facebook, and Sundar Pichai of Google, taking questions, albeit remotely, from a Senate committee. Now, this is just 6 days before polling day. The Republicans, of course, controlling the Senate, and really they were the ones here pushing an attack against what they said was anti-conservative bias on the platforms. And things really did get heated, certainly when it came to Twitter and Jack Dorsey. Let's not forget that article in the New York Post, which alleges that Hunter Biden, Joe Biden's son, was involved in some illicit schemes. Twitter and Facebook took action on that to limit its spread, Twitter initially stopping it from being shared, apologizing afterwards perhaps for the strength of their reactions. Debates still raging about the authenticity of all of that, but pausing that bit of the discussion for a second. This is how Senator Ted Cruz challenged Jack Dorsey on that point.
Mr. Dorsey, who the hell elected you and put you in charge of what the media are allowed to report and what the American people are allowed to hear? And why do you persist in behaving as a Democratic super PAC, silencing views to the contrary of your political beliefs?
Let's give Mr. Dorsey a few seconds to answer that, and then we'll have to conclude this segment.
Well, we're not doing that, and this is why I opened this hearing with calls for more transparency. We realize we need to earn trust more. We realize that more accountability is needed to show our intentions and to show the outcomes.
Thank you,
so I hear the concerns and acknowledge them, but we want to fix it with more transparency.
And yet, Ollie, on the exact point of that article, the Democrat senators, many of them thanking and praising the platforms for taking down what they called Russian-sponsored disinformation. The questioning on that completely separating on partisan lines. You then got senators like Tom Udell, Tammy Duckworth, Democrat senators, accusing the Republicans of holding all of this as a big circus to air clips, to air their attack on big tech, to help them in the final week. We know, of course, we're now approaching the big day, the election day on the 3rd. All of the platforms announcing moves to try and stop the spread of false information. A big part of that for Twitter has been adding labels to posts by Donald Trump. That was a really controversial point. Twitter defending themselves, Facebook as well. I think it's fair to say Google and the big questions about competition and these kind of things sort of went to the side, really. It was a party political attack from both sides on big tech and then both sides on one another.